people. Like, comment, and subscribe, please, as we have a little chat tonight about a recent excursion down to the Museum of London. Same old story, my friend. I've put the old wig on straighter. That's it. At the Museum of London Executions exhibition, which was absolutely brilliant. It was a couple of weeks, 10 days ago now. I went down there to view the exhibition. I have to say, it's a fantastic museum and full of interesting artefacts and information. Easy to get to as well. Let's have a look here. You can get there obviously on TfL, and stations you require are Canada Water and West India Quay on the TfL. I know that Canada Water is on the Jubilee line, and I believe the West India Quay, West India Quay is on the DLR. So easy to get to, easy to get around. The actual museum is free, but the executions exhibition at the time was, of course, extra. That cost me £16, but I think it was worth every penny. Unfortunately, by the time this goes out, the exhibition will be over, I'm afraid, but who knows, it might come back. So, yeah, get yourself down to the museum anyway. Nonetheless, the book, Executions, is published and for sale on all good bookstores and retail websites such as Amazon, and I think you can even buy it directly from the museum for £11. So that'll give you a good insight, the pictures, the information, and the drawings. I mean, I took some photos myself, but we'll get around to that through the show. Of course, this weekend is the Brixham Pirate Festival from the 29th of April. Right through to the Monday evening, I believe, with Pirates Parade happening, and of course all the parties and that take place, all the drinking, and God knows what else. So big shout out down there to the Brixham Pirate Festival starting the 29th of April. Everyone that's going to that, safe journey down there. Safe journey back, have a great time. I won't be going myself. I've got working commitments and other stuff, so maybe another time, who knows. But all good, yeah. Have a good time. Great bands to be seen down there. One, actually, is playing right now, if you can hear it. It's Reaver's Gallows, Pirates Defeat, our background music, first choice stuff. So if you get a chance to see them, I believe their gig in Brixham is free. I don't know how many gigs they're doing, probably quite a few. So yeah, show your appreciation, go and see them. Wonderful band, folk music, sea shanties, that kind of thing. Fantastic. I'll be seeing them at Fantasy Forest with a bit of luck. So thanks a lot. Yeah, look, without any further ado, let's get on to where we what this is about. And of course, it's about the London Museum of Docklands, rather, and I went down there for the executions exhibition, as I said earlier. Excuse me. This is, of course, pear juice. I beg your pardon, that's mango juice. Sorry. And there's a bit of time. I got there early, and I thought I'd have a look around the rest of the museum. And you start up at the third floor of the museum and spiral basically down. And one exhibition that really took my breath away was the exhibition on this, and that's on London, Sugar and Slavery. It goes into great depth about the slave trade. And I made some notes as well as I was going round, and I was showing some exhibits there and whatnot, artefact information. The London Sugar and Slavery trade started in 1526. It ended in 1867. Would you believe? 12.5 million people were displaced from Africa, and it's thought, well, it's not thought, it is the most costly in human life, in human migration. 10 million Africans made the voyage, many dying on the way. 2.5 million lost their lives on the way, so it's almost as much or equal to the Jewish population in World War II. I'd probably be corrected on that, but I'm happy to be corrected on that. It's still a substantial amount. You've still got the 10 million that made the journey to misery and probably died in slavery as well. They were kept en route in insanitary conditions. They were traded by their own tribal leaders and slave hunters from Europe. So it gives you an idea, only an idea, of course it's not an experience, but the idea of the exhibition is to give you an education. And I'd recommend that everybody goes and sees it, reads it, and it is a magnificent exhibition in the best possible terms because it's such a wonderful education. They were all used, of course, to produce sugar, coffee and cotton in the Americas and the Caribbean and Latin America, because all the Western nations at the time were involved in slavery. And when it was made unlawful and abolished, slave owners, ironically, were compensated £20 million in 1837. So it still took another 30 years to dismantle the whole of the slave trade. So it gives you an idea, doesn't it, of the expanse of it all, really. I don't know what else to say. So in 1834, slave owners were identified in a government consensus. So yeah, that gives you a bit of flavour to that exhibition. I mean, there's some. I'll just see if I can get some slides going here as I do. Now, so I don't want them to get mixed up with the. Right, this is with the. So I'll get on to the executions in a minute. I just want to give some attention to this slavery. Here we go. Should be seeing something coming up on your screen very shortly. There we go. I know, I appreciate you can't probably see all the names, but that gives you an idea of the Africans that were migrated from Africa to the various destinations across the Caribbean, Latin America and North America. All those people, they're not named obviously because they wouldn't have registered them as names because they didn't recognise them as human beings. They were a chattel, a commodity. But along on this board that's on display in the museum, it shows how many, that it plays a numbers game of what ship and how many thousands were brought to which island or destination in the Americas. So that's certainly something to have a look at. There was also, let me have a look, I think to try and prompt me a bit here, hang on, the West Indian Company, an East Indian Company, had these staffs along here, and staff tips, you'll see one just down the right there, and that was the authority or the sign of authority that the West India companies had, and they would brandish that around as a sign of authority over people's internment into slavery. Excuse me a minute. Got to wet your whistle, you know. As I said, mango juice. Got a bit of work to do tomorrow. Excuse me. So, yeah, you've got all these. I mean, I took a lot of pictures, but I can only get a few on the show. But that gives you an idea of the kind of artefacts that are on display. There's pictures, write-ups, videos, all sorts of things. Let's see if I've got anything else on here. But I have. As I said, it's well worth having a look and visiting the London, the Museum of London. I beg your pardon, Museum of London at Docklands. It's absolutely splendid museum, to say the least. A great education, and do have a look at the London sugar and slavery displays on the top floor as you walk through there. Absolute education, that's the sign, you've got it there, you know where you are when you see that. Information such as that, and of course you'll get all these exhibits, etc., like that. The staff of the West India Company, amongst other things, paintings and furniture, how the plantation people lived, etc., etc. So yeah, very good education that, and helpful to understand Black history as well. And I do believe, please make a comment in the comments if I've got this wrong. I don't think the British government has made a formal apology for slavery, but I could be wrong. I'm not quite sure on that. But nonetheless, I know the families concerned haven't received any. The families of slaves, that is, haven't received any form of compensation whatsoever to date. So that's where we are with that. But again, I'll just finish off. A great exhibition on the third floor of Sugar, London and Slavery. Go and have a look at it the next time you're at the Museum of London in the Docklands area. Fantastic. Anyway, look, without further ado, just a quick reminder to all our watchers out there on this broadcast, please like, comment, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Facebook or the blog thesussexsmuggler.co.uk. I released a blog this morning on yesterday morning on Sunday, I beg your pardon, and about the highway robbery that took place in 1801 in East Grinstead, West Sussex. Probably at the time it was probably considered as East Sussex, but nowadays it's West Sussex. So take a look at that on the blog, like and share it about if you don't mind. Got that from a very reliable book published in 1906, The History of East Grinstead, available online. So it's a good read. That immediately jumped out at me. So yeah, search that out on the blog if you don't mind, and of course like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook or the blog thesussexsmuggler.co.uk. Right, we'll put that away just for now. As I said earlier, I went to the Museum of London Docklands over the Easter break. I'll wet the whistle again, it's good stuff this. Courtesy of Perry Hill Orchard at Hartfield in East Sussex on the Ashdale Forest. Lovely stuff. They also do a nice drop of farm cider too. Anyway, right, okay, so I went. Now, what it was, I had as you know, those of you that have been following my blog and recent broadcasts, live broadcasts on here, I've been doing a lot of work on the Hawkhurst gang. As well as a few other bits and pieces, and of course it makes a lot of noise, if you like, and about the punishment they receive, such as hanging and gibbeting. So just by chance and luck, really, nothing more, nothing less, this exhibition at the Museum of London came up, and so I planned an excursion up there to have a look round and take it all in. And for £16, I thought it was an absolute bargain. Really enjoyed it. I bought some good books. Hopefully I'll be reading and reviewing them, but I'm still stuck with a few chapters to go on the pirates of the Barbary Coast at the moment, which is something in itself. I might be pulling a chapter out of that to come on here or write a blog about, I'm not sure yet. But anyway, actually, yeah. So I wanted to know really and find out about the punishment that smugglers and highwaymen. By the way, in the 18th century, highway robberies went through the absolute roof, according to the exhibition, and that's why there were so many, mostly men, listed for highway robbery. It was the thing to do, it was the crime to commit. And of course, I wanted to find out to see if there was any records of the Hawkhurst gang, which I did find, and I'll explain that as we go on. So some interesting facts about the executions exhibition. Again, I've made some notes, as you do. The first public execution ever recorded at Tyburn was in 1196. Now, there were apparently hundreds, according to the exhibition, of execution sites in London, and the same around market towns and highways. If you committed a crime at a certain place, it was quite usual for the authorities, the Crown, the State, and the Church to erect the gallows at the scene of the crime, or use a tree at the scene of the crime to execute you. So that was most usual. They say, I think you're something like no more than 5 metres away in London from an execution site. So it's not just considered the usual places like Tyburn, Marble Arch. It could have been anywhere. There's a map online that usefully explains where the execution sites were. And really interesting that it's not just Tyburn, that although it's probably the most famous, the Tyburn tree and the gallows. So I mean, they would even execute outside of Newgate Prison. They'd execute outside of the Old Bailey. Even in my local town, in East Grinstead, they used to execute outside the old courthouse that used to be there, which is currently now Lloyd's Bank and Coral Bookmakers. In that facility, they used to execute people outside there as well. So interesting, and it went on as well about gibbeting. But we'll get back to the facts as to what I found out. The last public execution was at Newgate in 1868. In London, I've already said, you're always 5 kilometres, not 5 metres, 5 kilometres from the nearest known execution site. And I'm sure a lot of you budding historians have already worked this bit out. Execution was a demonstration of power from the Crown, the State and Church over its subjects. Incredible, isn't it, really, when you think of what the French did, who exercised the power then. It was known, this particular piece of legislation, that made certain crimes indictable by execution. It was called the Bloody Code, and it came in onto the statute books in 1723 to 1820. And there was 220 crimes listed. Things do go wrong. I do say the wrong things occasionally. We are going out live after all. Sit back and relax. Let me stress about it. The usual and expected crimes are there: treason, murder, counterfeiting money, stealing cloth, including wool, cotton, and linen, as an example. And it was illegal to speak against the execution of King Charles I as well. So even the right to free speech, if you like, which a lot of people go on about these days, rightly and wrongly, of course, you get executed for that, you get your head chopped off or possibly hung just for speaking out against that. But I've got to wet the whistle again. Sorry, bear with me. Guy Fawkes he actually, after his attempt at blowing up Parliament, which I might say needs to be revisited, Guy Fawkes avoided execution. What he did, he jumped and broke his own neck and escaped being executed by the state. So imagine that didn't go down too well, did it, at the time? I bet there's a lot of questions asked about that. Also, they used death masks. They would take a mask, a mould from the executed for research and scientific purposes. And a young man, you probably have heard of him, John or Jack Shepherd. He escaped Newgate numerous times and was hung aged 22 in 1724. He was a renowned thief around London that he got executed, got caught. He got hung in 1724. But look, there I've got some pictures. Some photographs going to come up on your screen any minute now. Now this is got this right, hopefully. So there we go. In front of your screen now is the former Newgate prison door that you would go into to await your fate. Quite an intimidating piece of door work there. And you can see there's holes and grates in it, so you could actually see through the other side. And they also had in Newgate and other debtors' jails and prisons, you'd have like a window or a barred window where you could actually have public visits from the street, see people. Quite incredible. But above, I think I've got this. Let's have a look here. Above that door was more of a message. Now bear with me now. Hang on, let me just find this. See if I've got it or not. I don't know. I may have it. No, it doesn't look like I've got that. Hang on. It's a live streaming, I tell you. There we go. That's what I want. You take a look at your screen now. You'll see above the Newgate door these chains. And what those chains were saying, they were a symbol that if you ended up in Newgate, you get chained in those straight away. And that would be your hardship. That would be what it's like inside. So it was acting, if you like, as a deterrent to people on the outside not to commit offences and break the law, because you would end up in these chains. It's quite a clear signal from the authorities as to what life would be like inside Newgate prison. So yeah, wonderful, isn't it? So to describe it, it was very a corridor that led to different rooms along the way along the exhibition, and you started off with bits to read, and there was simulators, if you like, and videos, lots of sound. What I liked as well was the toll bell ringing every time you took a step, which was rung, I think, every hour on the hour if you were due an execution from a certain church. They actually had, I can't remember the church, but it was a church nearby, and they actually had the bell on display there. So that was a sound effect that was happening throughout the time. And then you'd go through, you'd see all the different exhibits and information. You'd go through a 10-minute to a room where you could sit down, watch a 10-minute video of a cart execution and the kind of people. There are a lot of people that were executed that were innocent, and there were also so many executions, I think it was something like 5,000 in total, that the justice system actually relied on making reprieves. And you could have a last-minute reprieve whilst you're hanging on the noose around your neck. So there's all sorts of stories that come out of that. You could even be reprieved and hung and executed. So how do you fancy that one? But you could always make a reprieve, and there were lots and lots and lots of reprieves issued by the courts on appeal, because simply they didn't have enough staff and process to put everyone through it. So that's some interesting, well, I found them interesting points anyway. So getting back to the smuggling, and the reason why I went up there was to see if I could find any of the infamous Hawkhurst gang, see if there was any reference to them. And what they had, similar to the London slavery exhibition, was this. They had this big screen, really tall screen, and it was like a slow ticker tape going up and up and up really slowly. It took me about 20 minutes to wait, and I did get a result, because this is what I found. I'm glad I did. I found this name come up on the screen. Now, I did take a video. The video's not as good, but I took a picture, and you'll see on the 11th of May 1748, William Rowland and Arthur Gray are listed as being executed at Tyburn. I didn't get the other column, because whilst it was slow, it was at the same time quite fast, if you know what I mean. So there's another column to the right of this which says tax offences, which comes out for smuggling. And there they were. I mean, if I waited probably another half an hour, I'd probably find some more infamous names from the Hawkhurst gang going up the ticker tape there. But yeah, that was the main reason to see how that all panned out. And there you go, Arthur Gray, leader of the Hawkhurst gang, the first leader of the Hawkhurst gang, of course. So yeah, that was quite a result for me, quite satisfying to see that. As I said, the exhibition's no longer, but I wonder if, of course, they'll make it come back, which would be interesting, because the people I've told about seem interested. They didn't have, disappointingly, they didn't have an actual gallows set up or on display, which I thought they might have done, but they did have some nooses on display, some hemp and rope tied in a certain fashion. They were on display. Also had this rather, I mean, I've seen a gibbet before, I've seen two, both of them are in rye, but this is a gibbet here that I took a photograph of at the exhibition, and I believe it was out at Newgate, one of the originals, and that's what you would be hung in chains, if you like, and hung from a tree or a post, a bit like our friend Jack Upperton over in West Sussex there, still roaming the Clapham Woods, as you will see if you look at my blog, thesussexsmuggler.co.uk. Yeah, that was a bit of a find, a result, and then it went on to a bit about how the death penalty shouldn't be allowed. There was a case put by Amnesty International and things where executions in the world still actually take place. So overall, I mean, it took me about, I think, 2.5 hours. It's a lot more comprehensive than I can cover in 15 minutes on a half an hour broadcast, but it's just to give you a flavour. So there is a book. Once I read it, I'll let you know what it's like. Probably some more information will come to light out of it as well. But yeah, it was a good exhibition. If it comes back on again, then please go ahead and take a look at it. It might not even be in London, it might be somewhere else in the UK or around the world, of course. Take a look, it's very interesting. So yeah, that gives you an idea. I've also got another book on gibbeting that I bought at the London Museum that I'll be reading. So hopefully we'll get some book reviews done, and what with the long bank holidays coming, I plan hopefully to get in the back garden and have a read up and take things from there and let you know what's what. But as I said, sort of Pirates of the Barbary Coast to finish, so hopefully this week I'll finish that and get back to you. I might even be in a position to reveal who Captain Jack Sparrow was based on, but more on that later. So before I go, of course, all you pirates going down to the Brixham Pirate Festival on the 29th of April. Safe journeys there. Have one for me and everyone else that can't go. And of course, if you can, please remember, if you like what you're hearing and what you're broadcasting, like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook or the blog, thesussexsmuggler.co.uk. And a big shout out to Reeva's Gallows down there. They'll be at Brixham, as I said, live, free. So go and see them. Fantastic stuff. And of course, you can find me on Twitter as well at Sussex Smuggler, and email me Captain James Bollinger 1973 at gmail.co.uk if you want to get in touch. Of course, message me via Facebook if that's easier. And hope to see you soon. Have a great uh, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and of course, if you're going over to Brixton at the weekend, have a fantastic time. So that's me done. Half an hour of the Sussex Smuggler with me, Captain James Bollinger. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.